Yeah. Well, and most of the audience and the people that are listening now, are big wrestling fans. And what I like to bring to the podcast is having people really understand where these personalities come from. And, you were kind of a prodigy in radio. I mean, you started at 13 in Amsterdam, New York, which is near Albany. Where are you, like from the beginning, like when you were a kid, were you the kid with the hairbrush doing, the stand-ups and was that what you did as a kid? Because your career started pretty damn early.
Yeah, it's funny, Sean. My mom said you're either going to be successful or in prison, and right now it's about 50-50. I never had any illusions of grandeur about broadcasting. I was a kid in school who just didn't shut up. I really enjoyed making people laugh. I tried to be, a good friend. And when you're a good friend, you don't pay attention in school, because you want to know what's going on with your friends. Right. So I got in a lot of trouble, and my mother said it was really my mom who was the driving force in doing this. She said, well, listen, I know a guy who runs the local radio station, and after school, I think you should go there and just work, do whatever you need to do, but you should have a job. Now, I'm 13, so my mother was a school teacher for 40 years. So apparently, 13, it was time to,
good time.
Let's go here.
Forget child labor.
So, I mean,
you got to start earning your way, kid. You got to.
Yeah. And I was like, well, 13, yeah, okay. Everybody else is kind of hanging out, going to the mall and doing stuff, but work. Okay, yeah, I guess I'll do that. So that's how it started. I really literally went to the local radio station in Amsterdam, which was an AM, WCSS. It was 1490. Still remember it very clearly. And just started hanging out. And my voice had changed pretty early, at around 12, I guess. So I always sounded much older than I was. And when I talked, they were like, whoa, you really have a voice for radio. And, back in that time, which was 1980, you needed to have a voice for radio. They had, it was the golden tones, and it was that era, and so that's how I fell into it. I never wanted to be on the radio, but it was something that gave me an outlet to talk, to entertain, to hopefully make people laugh. And that's really how it got started.
So when you get a job, and I think you were in high school when you actually were, on the air, and I guess what were you just spinning records like a DJ and, in the afternoons, or what was really like your first original aired, job on the air?
I think the first thing they had me do was read a newscast, the new news, which in a small town like that, you actually read the obituary report. So you actually are people in those small towns. That's how they found out who passed away. So I remember just knowing nothing, and they threw me in the studio and gave me these obituary reports to read. And that was how it started. People say it was kind of ironic because you killed a lot of audiences along the way. But that's kind of ironic, I guess, that I got my start reading about dead people.
Yeah, but, you're still killing it.
Yeah, that's still killing it. That's how it started, man. And I would mispronounce things, and they tell me, no, you can't. And Amsterdam, New York, was very Italian and very Polish, so the names were a challenge. The first funeral home that I had to read, now I know, is pronounced Gujelik Pomakai, but I said
still
something
hard to
like, but I'll never forget it because the general manager came running in and he said, you should know this. And I said, put on 13. I don't know anything. But yeah, man.
How did you pronounce it?
Report. Not like that.